Yo. Welcome back with another video. And today we got how the FBI solved the 1.6 billion Instagram scam. But first, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the 420 subscribers. We hit a nice little 420. Grind's never gonna stop. We're grinding to 100k, then after 100k, a mil. You guys already know. Thank you guys for subscribing, for subbing. I mean it. It means a lot. Thank you. Now just please, if you can, comment on some videos. Let me know which is your favorite video. Comment on any video. It doesn't matter which one. Just comment anything. Put a dot. Anything. Just let me know you're active. Please. Give me some comments in the comment selection. Also, kind of keep subbing up. Keep subscribing. Keep sharing the videos. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Grind 100k. Grind never stops. I'm also gonna be eating a soup, so in case you guys see me eating soup.
A life of crime, mostly fraud, is influenced first by a lifestyle these fraudsters desire but can't usually have.
Wingstop, I need a sponsor. Wingstop. Please, Wingstop. I need a sponsorship. Please, Wingstop.
To live rich takes years of toiling, and this is mostly their fear. For the disgraced cyber fraudster, Hushpuppi, a Nigerian now serving a jail term in the US, he wanted more from life than an average Nigerian, and he didn't mind the world knowing who he was. Consequently, everyone did. Here is how the FBI solved the $1.6 billion Instagram scam. Yahoo Boy, the Hushpuppi origin story. When Jerry Yang and David Filo founded Yahoo in 1994, they were electrical engineering graduate students at Stanford University. The duo initially called the website Jerry and David's Guide to the World Wide Web. At the time, the website functioned simply as a compilation of Yang and Filo's favorite websites. However, as the platform gained more popularity, it was eventually renamed Yahoo, which is an acronym for Yet Another Hierarchical Officious Oracle.
That's crazy.
Although Yahoo exponentially grew over the next half-decade, and its popularity spanned across several regions in the world, Yang and Philo could have never imagined that it would become a tool at the hands of internet fraudsters in faraway Nigeria. As internet services gained popularity in Nigeria during the early 2000s, young boys disillusioned with life in the third world country found.
I wonder how they created the thought of making you a Yahoo email and then using it for like secure reasons. That's weird. That's crazy to think about.
Rather dark way out of their bubble. While Yang and Philo were busy perfecting the user interface for Yahoo, their mostly unemployed counterparts in Nigeria were using some of the newest features of the website to perpetuate the most dastardly romance scams. These internet fraudsters used Yahoo Messenger to communicate with their unsuspecting male or female victims across the globe, promising them love, marriage, and a happy ending in a bid to con them out of huge sums of money. The ones who hit it big called themselves Yahoo Boys as a way to pay homage to the platform that brought them their ill-gotten wealth. As more of their potential victims became
Yahoo Boys is crazy.
Aware of the modus operandi of the romance scams, it became pertinent for internet fraudsters across the globe to evolve their game, and this gave rise to more scams such as phishing, charity fraud, social media scams, credit card fraud, tax return frauds, carding, business email compromise, etc. These scams gave rise to a new generation of Yahoo Boys who had a larger-than-life personality and flaunted their wealth without caution or remorse. The sometimes brazen way in which they went about their illegal business gave credence to the saying that absolute power corrupts.
Give me 1 second here.
Absolutely, or in their case, easy wealth tends to make one go mad with thirst. One of the champions of this new generation of fraudsters was Ramon Abbas, who gained social media notoriety.
But was scamming basically on Yahoo. Started going stupid dumb. Started wasting stupid money.
Around 2015 and was known to his over 2.8 million Instagram followers as Hushpuppi. He also went by the alias Hush, Ray Hushpuppi, and the billionaire Gucci Master. Born on October 11th, 1982 in Lagos, Hushpuppi's very humble upbringing was what fueled his insatiable appetite for wealth and the expensive things of life. Hushpuppi was born and raised in the Oworonshoki area of Lagos, Nigeria, and it was where he started his career as a Yahoo boy. Before then, he sold bread and
a Yahoo boy.
Other food items on the streets alongside his mother, while his father was a taxi driver. So how did a poor boy from the streets of Lagos become a billionaire Gucci master? During the early 2000s, many young Nigerians discovered that Yahoo Messenger could be used as a tool to scam what they called clients or magas of their hard-earned money. Ramon Abbas was one of them, and he quickly mastered the art of using stolen identities to con unsuspecting victims out of thousands of dollars in sophisticated romance scams.
FBI, do not come after me. FBI, do not come after me, FBI.
Before long, Hush Puppy found success in his new line of work and quickly developed a reputation in his poor neighborhood as a big spender. In a BBC interview, local driver Sayer recounted how Hush Puppy loved to splash his cash around during the early days of his career as a Yahoo boy. Sayer said he was generous. He used to buy beer for everyone around. By 2014, Hush Puppy, as well as several other Yahoo boys from Nigeria, began migrating to Malaysia to continue their illegal business. While several explanations have been given for this sudden change in location, including the nationwide crackdown on internet fraudsters by Nigerian law enforcement agencies, the truth is that the Malaysia trip was more like a rite of passage or coming of age for most Yahoo boys at the time, as the online community became more sensitized to the various romance scam formats employed by internet fraudsters. The top dating websites put in several security measures that made it nearly impossible for Yahoo boys to access their websites from Nigeria and several other countries in Africa. While some of these boys were satisfied with accessing the smaller dating websites with less security, Hush Puppy knew if he was ever going to be as big as he had always dreamed, he had to make this move. This proved to be the turning point in the Hush Puppy story, as Malaysia provided not just a more sophisticated internet architecture, but it was also a meeting ground for fraudsters from all over the globe due to the lax law enforcement in the country. In Malaysia, he was able to flourish and make the type of connections within the internet fraud community that propelled him into stupendous wealth. At this point, there was no going back for Ramon Abbas, and he went on to adopt the larger-than-life brand that we all know as Hush Puppy.
Hush Puppy. L. The fall from grace.
Able to contain the immense joy he derived from his newly found wealth, Hush Puppy found his way to Instagram to
Nah, but that car is sick. I ain't even gonna lie. If I was him too, that's probably exactly what I'd be doing too.
Express himself. As a result of his very humble beginnings, Hush Puppy had always had a unique desperation to become wealthy by any means necessary, but what he craved the most was to be respected by everyone and get back at those who looked down on him in the early stages of his life. For him, the picture-sharing app Instagram provides...
It's not, I feel like where I'm at right now, it's not even about, like, proving people wrong. It's more about proving myself right, in my opinion. That's kind of what I feel like is more important in life, is proving yourself right. Proving that what you said and what you said that you were going to accomplish, you accomplished. Instead of, proving them wrong. I mean, yeah, that's cool too. If you want to prove them wrong, yeah, that's cool. But it's like, you're always going to have a feeling for somebody else. And why? Why are you going to feel, waste that time? Waste that energy.
The perfect means for him to get the two things he most desired, and he certainly didn't hold back. While he was still living in Malaysia, Hush Puppy started becoming an Instagram sensation as he regularly flaunted his stupendously wealthy lifestyle. However, it was when he relocated to Dubai that he truly attained superstardom on Instagram, as his ostentatious living captivated millions of Instagram users, especially young hustlers and Yahoo boys back home in Nigeria who looked up to him for daily motivation. And the billionaire Gucci master, which was boldly written on his Instagram.
That's what kind of sucks too, when people look up to you and they end up being a whole scam.
Instagram bio didn't disappoint his teeming fans. As ludicrous amounts of money continued to come in for Hush Puppy, he made sure to give his followers a live account of how he splurged on life's luxuries, such as designer clothes, diamond wristwatches, and custom-made cars. The famous internet fraudster rarely made a post without referencing famous international brands like Gucci, Fendi, Versace, and even Rolls-Royce. The more Hush Puppy posted his nearly fairy tale lifestyle online, the more followers he was able to get, and at the peak of his fame, he had over 2.8 million active followers. Seeing as Hush Puppy was given their brands a lot of
2 million followers is crazy. That's right.
Great
respect,
publicity, as well as the fact that they enjoyed massive patronage from him. Some of these brands began to reciprocate his loyalty by presenting him with all manner of special gifts. On one occasion, he got an all-expenses-paid trip to the Ritz Paris as a VIP guest of Louis Vuitton. Another
damn, he must have spent a lot at Louis. How the fuck?
He and fellow Instagram influencer Samson Oyekunle were hosted at a lavish party by,
not to be rude, but I don't know who that is,
Kuala Lumpur branch of Versace. At this particular event, the two were given several gifts for being the store's best customers.
That's crazy.
Afterward, Hush Puppy sent his Instagram fans into hysteria when he...
what I'm thinking is, I wonder how much money you gotta spend to be one of the most valuable customers. That's... Louis already expensive. Oh man.
Posted a video.
If y'all never been in Louis and you don't got a good bank account, be ready for a heart attack, because that shit gonna make you fucking... You gonna see them prices? You gonna see... Check this. Louis here, this Louis shoe right here. $3,000. Be like $3,000 right here. 3K for this one shoe. Fucking crazy. If you want both, $6,000. Because it's tax, bruh.
Of himself celebrating by splashing $20,000 in the same store. Soon enough, Hush found a worthy accomplice in yet another Instagram influencer, Ismaila Mustafa, who also went by the nickname Momfa. Together, the duo caused quite
Mumpa. Mumpa. When you guys get me my nickname, you guys can call me JX or Michael, but I prefer JX. But if you guys would like Michael, Michael's cool too. I don't mind.
Stir on social media as they showed off all the luxuries they could afford with their limitless financial resources, from expensive trips in private jets to their excessive shopping sprees in various
not to be, but that's a badass fucking Rolls Royce. That's hard.
designer stores. The duo were constantly putting out content about their unbelievable lifestyles that got their followers hooked on their Instagram pages like drugs.
And with that attention, so comes the wrong attention, and they started drawing the attention of the FBI.
Peak of Hush Puppy's Instagram fame, over 2.8 million people viewed his post about his custom Rolls Royce, and he, as well as Momfa, got mentioned.
The FBI don't play. The FBI does not play. Once they got you on your radar, or they got you on their list, best believe they're watching. They're always watching. Even when you don't think they're watching, they're watching.
Song Living Things by Nigerian artist Nine Ice. The song was a 2016 hit in Nigeria, and Nine Ice paid homage to the stupendous wealth at the disposal of Hush Puppy and Momfa. As much as Hush Puppy
Mumpa.
flamboyant
That's a funny name. Mumpa. That's a funny thing to say. Mumpa, Mumpa, Mumpa.
personality earned him a few friends amongst some of the world's most influential people, especially artists and celebrities. It also meant he stepped on a few toes all too often. In one of his more famous online feuds, Hush Puppy got into a war of words with Nigerian music artists Fino and Chi after he called out the former for wearing fake watches. At the peak of the exchange between the trio, Xi
Fake it till you make it.
shaded the Instagram influencer for having no verifiable source of income. He said, "You have no
Damn, exposing him.
credibility, no known source of income, and yet you come on social media to attack hard-working Nigerian musicians with traceable wealth." He continued by daring Hush Puppy to
Damn.
provide proof of what he does for a living that has helped him acquire so much wealth within a short period. Ending his long tirade, Xi demanded that Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission look into Hush Puppy's dealings.
And does that count as snitching? Bro, what do you guys think? Does that count as snitching? He basically got in an argument with this guy for saying he had a fake watch. Then the guy that had a fake watch says, "Bro, you don't even have no real source of income, and you're over here posting millions of dollars." Damn. Is that snitching? My opinion, that is very much snitching. But damn. Imagine that. You expose the truth. You trying to expose somebody else, and they expose you, and then the government, and the government now wants to investigate you. Oh, good luck, buddy.
He wrote, "We need to start asking questions, and the EFCC needs to start paying more attention to detail." This was perhaps the loudest voice that had called for an investigation into the opulent lifestyle of Hush Puppy. While Hush was very generous about sharing his crazy spending habits with his followers, he was always dodgy when it came to revealing the source of his wealth. His vague explanation that he was into real estate investment didn't quite cut it, and anyone familiar with the lifestyle of the average Yahoo boy knew Hush Puppy was miles
That's a clean ass Fendi. I ain't not gonna cap to you. That's hard. I would wear that.
ahead of them. So what exactly was the
I would wear that.
source of his income? Business email compromise scams. Many of the Yahoo boys who left Nigeria to continue their illegal business in Malaysia, including Hush Puppy, realized quite early that they could only make a few $1,000s from romance scams. More importantly, the success of these types of scams is highly dependent on several factors that are to a large extent out of the control
And then I feel like you gotta keep talking to them for months to even get $1,000 or something.
of the fraudsters. For example, how much a potential victim is willing to pay is mostly dependent on how generous such a person may be, and not necessarily how much effort the scammer puts into getting the victim to trust
Oh, I see. And then, never mind.
Their false identities. For Ramon Abbas, this wasn't a reliable business model that could stand the test of time, and so it became important for him to make the step up. To reel in the big bucks, Ramon Abbas and his cohorts would have to ditch scamming individuals to focus on taking advantage of multi-million-dollar companies in elaborate online scams called business email compromise schemes, BECs. These scams are quite lucrative and account for nearly half of the money that is stolen through fraud and cost US companies more than $2 billion annually.
That's crazy.
According to the FBI website, Business Email Compromise, BEC, also known as
Business Email Compromise, BEC, what the hell? I don't even know what that is. I didn't even know that was a thing. The fuck is that?
Email Account Compromise, EAC, is one of the most financially
Also known as EAC account. Email account compromise is one of
damaging online crimes. It exploits the fact that so many of us rely on email to conduct business, both
I see.
personal and professional. One
Damn.
thing you need to understand about BC is that it is usually done by a group of scammers, with each person in the group
Scammers all right there.
specializing in various aspects of the scam. The level of sophistication in these scams is so scary that most of the companies targeted by the scammers never know what hit them until they have lost huge sums of money.
Damn.
Despite the billions of dollars lost by companies annually, BC is still very much underreported due to how embarrassing it is for the companies affected. As a result, many of the companies prefer to
That's crazy. What the fuck?
either count their losses or
So
investigate
just be like, you know what? Fuck it. It is what it is.
the matter quietly, so as not to expose how easily their company's security was breached by the scammers. This was how Hushpuppi and his criminal gang were able to carry out devastating BCs that cost businesses millions of dollars in losses for so long without being caught. So how did
Millions?
these criminals carry out BC scams? According to the FBI, there are typically 4 stages involved in every BC scam, from the moment the scam is initiated to when
Scammers, pay attention, folks.
the funds are stolen. First, the scammers identify a target. These are usually businesses in the US or across Europe. They then proceed to gather available information about the company, either through their corporate website or social media accounts like LinkedIn. In the second stage, the scammers, usually a hacker, gets access to the email account of someone in the company for no other reason than to monitor the
How?
inflow and outflow of information about the company's businesses, specifically relating to financial transactions. The scammers can silently wait in the email accounts of the victims for several weeks undetected until an
Just waiting.
invoice comes in. At this point, the BEC scam quickly moves to the third stage. Here, the scammers spoof the email account of the sender of the invoice or someone higher up within the company, like the CEO. To achieve this, the criminals use specific tools to mimic the original email address of either the sender of the invoice or the CEO of the company being targeted. The spoofed email address usually includes slight variations from the legitimate address that are not easily detected. For example, Jason_Kelly at targetcompany.com, Jason_Kelly at targetcompany.com.
Bruh.
This slight variation fools the victim into thinking any message received from the email address is from
It's
a
the same shit.
trusted person or someone of authority, like the CEO. The scammers go through all this trouble just to try and divert the payment for the invoice that they had intercepted earlier. This is not an easy task, and it involves the scammer
That is not easy.
employing various tactics, including sending spear phishing emails to the victim company's officials, usually someone in the finance department, apologizing that the previous account details provided were incorrect and going on to provide fresh account details. Sometimes the scammers even make impersonating phone calls where they pose as the sender of the invoice just to appear more convincing and successfully
What?
manipulate the victim to effect a change of bank details for the invoice payment. Finally, the unaware victim is provided with new wiring instructions by the scammers. Once the funds are wired to the bank account, which is controlled by the criminal gang, they quickly move to launder the money by redistributing it to several accounts, converting it to cryptocurrency,
Damn.
or using it to purchase expensive luxury items. This makes the money become untraceable and protects the scammers from being caught. When the original sender of the invoice fails to receive the funds on the specified date, they would usually reach out to the victim company. Unfortunately, very little could be done at this point, and the victim company's officials would be left red-faced. Some of the biggest frauds that have ever been perpetrated were BCs.
That's crazy.
A lot of them were carried out in the last half-decade, pointing to an increased activity of the scammers in the years leading up to Hushpuppi's well-publicized arrest. In 2019, Japan's Toyota Boshoku, an auto parts supplier, fell victim to a BC scam that cost the organization $37 million.
Oh my god.
The scammers were able to spoof the corporate email of the company and proceeded to successfully persuade an executive in the finance department
Dumbass.
to make the wire transfer. That same year, criminals sent spear phishing emails to St. Ambrose Catholic Parish in the US. The fraudsters managed to get away with $1.7 million while impersonating
a church
service providers and claiming that the church had not paid for services rendered over several months. In another BC scam, the fraudsters showed that their greed knows no bounds as they attacked a non-profit organization.
Damn, that's fucked.
For kids, Save the Children. The 2018 attack happened after an employee's email account was hacked by criminals. From the compromised email address, they proceeded to send out fraudulent invoices and documents linked to a project in Asia. The loss accrued by the organization is estimated at $1 million. Thankfully, details of all these BC scams are now within the public space and are helping to create enough awareness around these terrible scams. During his reign as a top cybercriminal, Hushpuppi was involved in several high-profile BC crimes that nearly brought many companies to their knees. One of the more popular cases occurred in 2019 when a New York-based law firm was about to make a payment of $922,000 to
almost a mil
client who had just refinanced a property. Unbeknownst to them, Hush and his team of internet fraudsters
ready to accept that
had been monitoring the company for some time. So, when a paralegal from the law firm emailed the client to find out where the money should be sent, the criminal group swung into action.
They're like this. Already.
And sent a fax with instructions for a wire transfer into a different account. The paralegal follows due diligence by calling the number on the fax to verify that the new instructions were authentic. Interestingly, the call was answered, and the fraudster was able to provide very confidential details that convinced her
Did you send that?
to send the money to the bank account. Just like that, $922,000 had disappeared into thin air. One can only imagine how
wait. And never to be seen again.
distraught the paralegal would have felt when it was discovered that it was a scam, but she really stood no chance. Hushpuppi had carried out thorough research on both the law firm and the client, so it was quite easy for him or whichever member of his criminal gang spoke with the paralegal to provide very confident.
That one South Park meme. And it's gone. And it's gone. Well, deposit. Okay. Let me get that in. And it's gone.
Confidential details about the whole process. While the company was still struggling to come to terms with what just happened, Hushpuppi, in typical fashion, was already off to another spending spree and posting receipts on his Instagram page. Money laundering and downfall.
What an idiot.
On social media, Hushpuppi only gave a vague explanation for the source of his income, claiming he was into real estate investment. Curiously, none of his Instagram posts showed him at work.
Or any freaking real estate property, dumbass.
Or even putting any effort to at least sell the facade. While some of his more ignorant followers may have believed this barefaced lie, the Yahoo boys back home in Nigeria, who had come to see him as some sort of role model, knew he was just one of them. However, they also didn't have a clue how deep their mentor had gone in the internet fraud community. By 2019, Hushpuppi had become one of the most successful BC scammers and was part of a syndicate.
That's crazy.
Of criminals that carried out some of the biggest online heists in recent times. To execute these kinds of big heists with pinpoint accuracy, the jobs had to be compartmentalized and each segment handled by specialists who belonged to Hushpuppi's syndicate of scammers. Some of these specialists are recruited solely for the purpose of setting up false bank accounts. Some of the team members function to create dummy websites to deceive their victims. Hackers are also very important players in the criminal network as they create tools that help them gain access to the email accounts of their victims. Finally, we have the money launderers who specialize in simply making the wired funds disappear without any traces. They achieve this by redistributing the money through several bank accounts, or converting the money into Bitcoin, or through money mules. These money mules are unsuspecting people, magas or clients, who are tricked into setting up money laundering accounts by their fake love interests in romance scams. One of Hushpuppi's most recognized associates was Canadian money launderer Galeb Alamari. The duo pulled several jobs together, with their most high-profile BEC scam being that of the Bank of Valletta, BOV, in Malta. According to an FBI sworn statement presented at the California District Court during Hushpuppi's trial, Ramona Bass and Galeb Alamari conspired to launder funds intended to be stolen through fraudulent wire transfers from a foreign financial institution in which fraudulent wire transfers totaling approximately 13 million euros were sent to bank accounts around the world in February 2019.
It's like $12 million in US, isn't it? Or 13 point something.
The highest plunged the holiday island into chaos as payment systems were shut down throughout the small European nation. Shoppers had to abandon their trolleys filled with goods at the checkout points, and all financial transactions were put on hold. Amidst all the chaos, the
What the fuck?
scammers had managed to send out about 13 million euros undetected, and Hushpuppi was tasked with providing bank accounts that could receive these funds without being flagged for fraud. Then, with the help of Alamari,
I first thought that was my mouse. What the fuck?
he would quickly launder the money before it could be recalled. That was the normal routine for most of their online heists. However, BOV's swift reaction prevented the fraudsters from making away with all the money. The cyber heist of BOV by Hushpuppi and his associate.
Honestly, that seems way so complicated for me to even process or even do. So if you're a hacker, that's crazy. That's crazy. I wonder how that shit works. I wonder how fast it takes, how fast you can do that. It's crazy.
Sent ripples through Malta, and before long, the story was on every major news network. According to evidence retrieved by the FBI while solving the $1.6 billion Instagram scam, Alamari took a screenshot of one of the news headlines reporting the heist and sent it to Hushpuppi. On seeing the screenshot, he simply
Bruh, he said, oh my
replied, "Damn," although they had just narrowly
damn.
a huge payout. Alamari quickly assured Hush that the next heist was already being planned. He replied, "Next one is in few weeks. We'll let you know when it's ready."
Bruh.
Too bad they caught on, or it would have been a nice payout. Although BOV later confirmed that it had recovered 10 million euros of the total sum that was missing, the hacker had managed to get away with some of the funds. Seemingly buoyed by that and Alamari's promise of another job in a few weeks, Hushpuppi took to his Instagram page the day after the BOV cyber heist and shared a picture of himself decked in Fendi from head to toe while leaning on a $160,000 Bentley Bentayga. In the caption, Hushpuppi wrote, "Bought myself a new Bentley Bentayga for Valentine's, the best way to celebrate the season of love." Over the next few months, Hushpuppi and Alamari work on several BC scams together, including a failed attempt to steal $124 million from an English Premier League club. The cyber heist on the club only fell apart when the UK banks refused to pay the funds into the Mexican bank account provided by Hushpuppi. If Hushpuppi and Alamari had seen the two failed cyber heist attempts as ominous signs of things to come, probably they would have
For real, they should have fucking knew that was a sign.
pumped the brakes on their operation. However, like true criminals, the thirst for more money pushed them to commit more crimes, and Hush became even more brazen in his next fraudulent scheme. Taking a leaf out of his early days as a Yahoo boy operating strictly on romance scams, Hushpuppi assumed the identity of a New York banker for his final big scam before his arrest in June 2020. For this scam, the famed Instagram influencer linked up with a Kenyan entrepreneur named Juma to con a Qatari businessman out of $1.1 million. The victim was looking to set up a new school in the Gulf state and needed a $15 million loan to bring the project to life. With his local bank unable to put up the full amount required, the victim hired the services of a financial advisor who unassumingly Google searched million-dollar loans and unfortunately landed on Juma's scam website. Under the cover
No way.
of their false identities, Hushpuppi and Juma were able to convince the businessman that they would be able to secure him the loan at a fee, which kept on changing. Every time the victim raised concerns about the loan not materializing, Hushpuppi and Juma would come up with more excuses that would eventually lead to them demanding more money from the victim. Between December 2019 and February 2020, the duo, alongside their associates from Nigeria and the US, were able to con the victim out of more than $1 million. The victim eventually began to run out of patience, and that was when Hushpuppi and Juma hatched a plan to get a final lump sum from the victim. They contracted a Nigerian, Vincent Chibuzo, to design a fake Wells Fargo website with an automated hotline. When the businessman rang the hotline, it was confirmed to him that the $15 million had been paid into his account. However, his joy quickly turned to sadness when he was informed he would have to pay a $575,000 withholding tax.
Oh my, I've heard of those. Oh my god, that's happened to me before. I ain't gonna lie to you, but now by a lot of money.
Before he could access the funds. In between the back and forth, Chibuzo caught wind of the huge sum of money that had been demanded from the victim and felt he deserved more compensation for his efforts. Ultimately, he began to ask for more money, and when Hushpuppi made it clear he wouldn't be getting any extra payment for his services, Chibuzo contacted the victim and exposed the scam. At this point, the story takes a very sick twist that left many people stunned when it made the headlines after Hushpuppi's arrest. Angered by Chibuzo's sabotage of the scam, Hushpuppi called a friend in the Nigeria police force, Abba Kyari, to report the matter. You are completely normal for wondering why a fraudster would be calling a police officer to report how a scam
Bruh.
deal he is involved in went bad. In fact, the most intriguing thing about this point of the Hush Puppy story is that Kyari wasn't just any random police officer. He was a deputy police commissioner and one of Nigeria's most decorated officers.
No way. Huh? That's crazy.
His exploits on duty earned him the nickname Super Cop and a shining example for a much maligned police force. However, details of Hush
He's corrupt.
Puppy's interaction with Kyari revealed that the decorated Super Cop had been dining with the devil for a very long time.
I told you.
In one of his text messages to Kyari, the internet fraudster said, "I want him to go through serious beating of his life." Hush Puppy's follow-up message clearly reveals he intends to shut Chibuzo up for good. He tells Kyari, "I want to spend money to send this boy to jail. Let him go for a very long time." Kyari doesn't hesitate to oblige to Hush Puppy's request and quickly replies with the details for a Nigerian bank account. Once Hush transferred the money to the account, Kyari falsely arrested Chibuzo and proceeded to send pictures of the middleman behind bars to his criminal friend. Under Hush Puppy's instructions, Chibuzo was detained in a Nigerian prison cell for
That's crazy.
over a month and made to face the harshest conditions. Unbeknownst to Hush Puppy and Kyari, this marked the beginning of their problems, as the FBI had already begun an investigation that would eventually expose their atrocities to the world. Hush Puppy's influence. Like many fraudsters, Hush Puppy's greatest undoing was his eagerness to flaunt his ill-gotten wealth. This was very curious behavior because as a money launderer, his primary duty was to cover up financial crimes. So on one hand, Abbas was making the huge sums of money gotten from his BC scams disappear, but once he was back on social media,
Bro forgot that he was actually scamming.
as Hush Puppy, he was flaunting the wealth with reckless abandon and thereby putting a mark on himself. Unfortunately, his obsession with Instagram likes and the urge to constantly seek validation from his followers prevented him from seeing the inherent dangers of social media overexposure given his line of work. And the more he posted about his super rich lifestyle, the more followers he garnered on Instagram. This remains a normal human phenomenon, as people tend to gravitate towards those they believe are successful, or like in Hush Puppy's case, living the dream. For many young people across the world, Hush Puppy was the picture of success, and he embodied the elusive perfect
It's all a lie.
life. When he wasn't attending high-profile events in Dubai, he was strutting in as one of the guests of honor at the Formula One race. The poor boy from the streets of Lagos was rubbing shoulders with some of the wealthiest people in the world, and he was hell-bent on making everyone see him do it. He inadvertently brought a lot of attention to himself, and it wasn't long before the FBI took notice of his flamboyant
Lies.
lifestyle. Hidden amongst Hush Puppy's 2.8 million followers were FBI agents who were determined
Oh, I told you.
to gather enough
I told you.
information about him to bring him to justice. Although the FBI suspected that Hush Puppy's wealth came from an illegal business, they had very little information to act on and didn't even know his true identity. However, this changed when Hush Puppy celebrated his 37th birthday and threw a lavish party that brought the high and mighty in Dubai together. He later posted a birthday cake gifted to him by Gucci, which gave detectives an idea
No way.
of his real name and date of birth. Armed with this information,
Damn.
FBI agents were able to link him to a visa
Got him.
application that not only revealed his true identity, but also gave them a clearer picture of his finances. At this point, the FBI was sure that Hush Puppy was a big-time money launderer and immediately put him under surveillance while waiting to get more concrete information to make an arrest. Luckily
No way.
for them, Hush Puppy's successful BC scam on
Say thank you, Gucci.
the New York law firm in October 2019 provided the moment the FBI had been waiting for. Once the paralegal wired the $922,000 into a
Bruh, they just needed you to be basically red-handed, catch you in the act.
Chase bank account, Abbas worked quickly to launder the money, paying out $396,000 into a Canadian account before contacting Alamari to confirm receiving the funds, which he did. At the time, Alamari had just landed at an airport and told Hush Puppy he would send a screenshot of the transaction once he was able to get a good enough signal on his phone. Moments later, Alamari walked straight into an ambush set by FBI
No way.
agents inside the airport and was placed under arrest. The next day, another of Hush Puppy's friends and alleged associate, Momfa, was arrested at a Nigerian airport on fraud and money laundering charges. Despite the double arrests of two people closely linked to him, Hush Puppy remained as loud
Bro was chill as hell.
as ever on Instagram. Apart from changing his bio from billionaire Gucci master to real estate developer, Hush Puppy took no other steps to appear more legit. He continued
Real
to
estate developer.
post pictures of his designer bags and expensive car collection. Earlier that month, he had given a Nigerian radio personality a tour of his home, where he showed off his array of designer clothes
Well, that's gone.
Rolls-Royce, Ferrari,
Well, that's gone.
and expensive taste. While
That's gone.
speaking about his wealth, Hush Puppy maintained that it came from legit hard work. He said, "My heart is pure. I sleep good at night. When something good happens to me, I know it's because I did good, not because somebody promised me money that I did not work for, or money that I don't deserve."
Yeah, okay.
Only he knew his words would come back to haunt him barely a few months later. As Alamari was now in FBI custody, they had full access to his phone, which contained a mountain of incriminating evidence against Hush Puppy.
Yikes!
He immediately began to work with UAE authorities to fast-track his arrest. On June 8, 2020, a Dubai SWAT team burst into Hush Puppy's apartment while he was asleep, placing him under arrest and taking possession of his properties, including $40 million in cash.
Bro looks nervous.
13 luxury cars worth $7 million, 47
Damn.
smartphones, 21 laptops, and the email addresses of 2 million potential
Damn. Email of 2 million?
victims. The Dubai authorities later sent social media into a frenzy when they released a dramatic film of the arrest, which they titled Operation Fox Hunt 2. Less than 48 hours later, Hush Puppy was flown to Chicago, where he
It all came crashing down.
stood trial for various cybercrimes that amounted to over $24 million. After pleading guilty to his crimes, Abbas was sentenced to over 11 years in prison on
11 years? You'd be chill.
November 8, 2022. While Hush Puppy's arrest and sentencing brought an end to his illegal activities, the revelations that followed the FBI's investigations once again brought to the fore the complicity of Nigerian law enforcement in the war against
How corrupt it was.
cybercrimes. Hush Puppy's exchange with Abba Kyari exposed the overbearing influence that successful internet fraudsters like him had over law enforcement agencies in Nigeria. Although these agencies postured like they were out
I'm not trying to sound wrong, but that country, they don't have a lot of money. So obviously, if that guy has a lot of money and he's sharing it with the Nigerian police and giving it back to them in a sense so they can buy equipment or buy stuff for them, obviously he's gonna favor him in some sense.
to bring an
I'm not saying that they're wrong and they're right, but it is what it is.
end to cybercrime menace. Behind the scenes, they were willing tools at the disposal of these criminals to carry out all sorts of
Like look at they don't even have freaking road right here, bro. They don't have no road. Think about that. It's crazy.
nefarious acts for a price. Law enforcement agencies
So
like
obviously, like, look, he doesn't even have a whole badge. No badge, and he's a cop. So obviously, if somebody offers him a good amount of money, probably look the other way.
of these criminals to carry out all sorts of nefarious acts for a price. Law enforcement agencies like the EFCC and especially the Special Anti-Robbery Squad had effectively turned the war against internet fraudsters into a money-making venture. Those of them who didn't have access to the big-time Yahoo boys simply hit the streets on a catch-and-release mission, where they pick up any group of young boys and force them to part with huge sums of money using threats or blackmail. No young Nigerian was spared from the notoriety
Well, that's crazy.
of the SARS operatives, as many were picked up and harassed simply for owning a smartphone or laptop. On several occasions, the SARS operatives tortured their victims in a bid to extort money from them, with things eventually boiling over in 2020 when Nigerian youths took a grand stand against police brutality in widespread protests that brought the country to a standstill for several weeks. The EndSARS hashtag trended globally for weeks as the youths took to the streets to make their feelings known to the government.
Respect.
Although SARS was eventually disbanded, the protests claimed a lot of lives and increased the level of distrust the youths had in the political class. In an interview, Dr. Adedeji Oyenuga, a cybercrime expert at Lagos State University, shed more light on Hush Puppy's continued influence amongst a section of Nigerian youths. He said, "We're in a country where a lot of young people are suffering. They see another young person who was once like them become that great." He continued, "I have seen parents who have taken their children to learn how to become Yahoo boys. With there still being a great disparity between the political class and the people, many of the youths in Africa's most populous country continue to see cybercrime as the only way to break out of crippling poverty and unemployment. In this regard, Hush Puppy..."
And that's what's sad about that too. That's what I'm saying. Like, they shouldn't feel like that's the only way. If they gotta make it out is by cybercrime, when you gotta learn how to be a Yahoo boy. Man, fuck that. That's crazy. Shout out to them. Shout out to Nigeria. That was a great video. Like, comment, subscribe if you guys liked it. Hush Puppy will probably get out in like what, 2022, probably like 2030, 2031 maybe. If it's cool, but it's crazy. like after I feel like 10 million, I would have stopped scamming. Why would you want to keep scamming for what? Like, you already have so much money that you're chilling for a while. Basically for your lifetime. For your lifetime. Maybe not your kid's lifetime, but a little bit of majority of their lifetime for sure. You're not going to use $10 million and like that. That's $10 million. But go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Grind to 100K. Grind never stops. Let's get it.
Bye, have a great time.